Hello and welcome to this week's episode of The Language of Leadership. I'm your host, Chuck Marting. On this week's episode, we're going to discuss how to develop client trust and dependency on both you and your team. Without encouraging our team as their leader, the customers tend to fall off the radar without our asking the provocative and respectful, encouraging questions of them. The customer can become a hassle or even viewed as a necessary evil with our team. So I want to ask, how can we build more trust with our customers? And I want to ask how we can convert a seemingly simple phone call into a very warm relationship, which will then lead to customers liking us and wanting to purchase our services from us no matter what the price is. I want your team to be able to ask how we can get our sales forces to win the customer's trust and then repeat their business as well. And I want to ask you the questions that you can ask that will motivate your team to start thinking in terms of lifetime customers instead of just single transactions. While thinking about this topic, I discovered 5 things that leaders can emphasize and train their teams to do that will help develop this client trust and dependency on their company. So I want to share this with you in today's podcast. So let's get started. The first of these is active listening. You have to encourage your team to practice active listening when interacting with clients. And this is going to involve paying full attention to the client and understanding their needs and their concerns, and then responding appropriately. So a great example of this of active listening is demonstrated by Zappos, an online shoe and clothing retailer, and you probably heard of them. Their customer service representatives are phenomenal, and they're trained to listen attentively to the customers and then empathize with their needs and provide personalized recommendations, resulting in higher customer satisfaction and loyalty. I also want to share an example with you from a podcaster, and you probably heard his name, and that's Joe Rogan. And he's known for his stand-up comedian career and also his being a UFC commentator. But it's his podcasts that are just phenomenal. If you've never listened to them, I would highly encourage you to listen to Joe Rogan's show, and you'll see what we're going to be talking about here. And that is how great of a listener and conversationalist he can be. In each of his episodes, Joe Rogan engages in a long conversation with a very wide range of guests, including scientists, athletes, musicians, politicians. But one notable example that I want to share with you of Joe Rogan's active listening skills occurred during his conversation with Elon Musk back in September 2018. You see, during the podcast episode, Joe Rogan actively listened to Elon Musk in his thoughts, his ideas, and he allowed him to fully express himself without being interrupted. And Joe Rogan demonstrated genuine curiosity and engaged in deep listening, which allowed the conversation to flow naturally while encouraging Elon to elaborate on various topics. And Joe Rogan actively sought to understand Elon's perspective and asked clarifying questions that provided him the space for him to express his views in detail. Now, this active listening approach allowed Elon to dive into complex subjects such as artificial intelligence, space exploration, and the future technology. And this was sharing his vision, his insights with the audience. It was incredible. Joe Rogan's active listening facilitated a more personal and open conversation with Elon Musk, discussing his experiences with anxiety, stress, and he actively listened with empathy, and he created a supportive environment where Elon felt comfortable sharing his vulnerabilities and his challenges. By actively listening to Elon and other guests, Joe Rogan has created a platform that encourages in-depth discussions and allows guests to share their knowledge, their experience, and their perspectives. And through his active listening skills, he's fostered an environment where guests feel valued, that they're heard, And then it leads into engaging and insightful conversations. Joe Rogan's podcast format is different from a traditional leadership role within an organization. But nonetheless, his active listening skills during his podcast exemplifies the value of creating an open and receptive space for conversations, which then foster understanding and then allows guests to fully express themselves. This is what we need to do with our own clients. The second thing I want to talk about is timely and transparent communication. The importance of timely and transparent communication with clients is a must. You have to encourage your team to respond promptly to client inquiries and provide regular updates to them, and also be honest about any challenges or delays. If you Slack is a popular collaboration platform. Okay, it's known for its commitment to transparent communication, and Slack openly shares information with their clients, including products, updates, outages, future plans. And it's fostering trust and creating a sense of partnership with their clients. Personalization and customization is the next or the third thing I want to talk about. And you have to be able to teach your team to personalize interactions and tailor solutions to meet the specific needs of each client. And that's going to involve understanding the client's preferences, their industry, their challenges, and offering personalized recommendations or solutions. Amazon is an excellent example of personalization. They use data-driven algorithms and they recommend products based on customers' behavior and their purchasing history, which makes the shopping experience a little bit more convenient and personalized for each of the clients. The skill of personalization and customization has been taken to the next level with the Ritz-Carlton. The Ritz-Carlton has ingrained in its company's culture, and it's taught to their entire leadership and also their team through a comprehensive training program how to treat and listen to clients. One of the keys that figures into this training, and that's behind this training, is Horst Schulze. He's the co-founder of the Ritz-Carlton Hotel Company. And Horst is recognized as a pioneer in the hospitality industry, and he's known for his emphasis for personalized services. He played a significant role in shaping the customer culture of the Ritz-Carlton, and he developed a training program called the Ritz-Carlton Mystique, which focuses on delivering exceptional service through personalization and customization. The program encompasses various elements that include intensive training sessions, workshops, and also ongoing reinforcement of their core principles and values. It's through this program that Horst has it and his team have instilled the values of anticipating guest needs and attention to detail, and then going the extra mile to create a memorable experience for each of their clients. The Ritz-Carlton training program emphasizes empathy, active listening, and developing a deep understanding of their guests' preferences. The team is encouraged to build genuine connections with their guests, ensuring that their experiences are tailored to their specific desires and needs. It involves both classroom-style learning, but then also practical on-the-job training that allows their team to apply their knowledge and the skills in real-life situations. And this hands-on approach, it helps the staff at all levels, from the frontline employee to leadership. It's helping them as a team to internalize the principles of personalization and customization. The leadership team at the Ritz-Carlton includes general managers and department heads, and they all play a role in reinforcing the importance of personalization and customization throughout the organization. They lead by example, and this ensures that their team has the necessary resources and support to deliver exceptional service to their guests. Horst has, along with his leadership team at the Ritz-Carlton, developed and implemented a comprehensive training program to teach the skill of personalization and customization to the entire workforce. And it's through this training and their innovations that they have created a culture of personalized service that has become synonymous with the Ritz-Carlton brand. Hey, are you a business leader or a supervisor striving to reach your full potential and take your organization to the next level? As a professional leadership coach, I can help you achieve your goals. My tailored coaching approach is designed to address your specific needs and help you succeed in today's fast-paced business world, whether you need to improve team communication, streamline processes, or develop a strategic vision for your organization. I'm here to help. With my coaching, you can expect to develop a deeper understanding of your leadership style and how to leverage it for maximum impact, gain clarity on your goals and priorities, and create a roadmap to achieve them. You're going to build the confidence and courage to take bold action and make difficult decisions. Learn proven strategies for managing stress, staying focused, and maintaining peak performance, and receiving support, encouragement, and accountability to keep you on track and moving forward. Contact me today at chuck@learningthelanguageofleadership.com. That's chuck@learningthelanguageofleadership.com for a free 90-minute call to learn how coaching can help you achieve your business, leadership, and personal goals. Let's work together to unlock your full potential and take your organization to new heights. The next thing I want to talk about, the fourth thing, is going the extra mile. Now, encouraging your team to go above and beyond to exceed client expectations. This can include small gestures like handwritten thank you notes or personalized follow-ups, as well as addressing unforeseen issues or requests properly. Kind of like the Ritz-Carlton, a luxury hotel chain, it's renowned for its exceptional customer service. Their employees are empowered to anticipate and fulfill their guests' needs and provide memorable experiences that foster long-term loyalty. I want to talk about Lewis Howes. Lewis Howes is a former professional athlete turned entrepreneur and motivational speaker. He's inspired many leaders through his podcast, The School of Greatness. I discovered my love for podcasting by listening to Lewis Howes and some of the incredible interviews that he had and his ability to talk to people and draw things out of them. It was very compelling. It still is compelling. And he has grown his podcast by leaps and bounds because of his interviewing style. Now, while Lewis Howes himself exemplifies going the extra mile in various ways, there are examples I want to share with you that I've seen and I've experienced in listening to his podcast. And the first is his deep dive into interviews with his guests. Lewis Howes goes beyond surface level discussions in his interviews. He takes the time to research each of his guests thoroughly, and he researches their backgrounds and their accomplishments and even the challenges they've had along the way. But by doing this, he has created a platform for in-depth conversation that provides valuable insights and actionable takeaways for his listeners. The authentic connection that Lewis Howes prioritizes in building authentic connections with his guests is second to none. Lewis takes a genuine interest in guest stories, in their experiences, and their expertise. And this allows their guests to feel comfortable, resulting in their being open during their interviews. And this authenticity focuses on a deeper level of trust, and it allows for more meaningful conversations with the guest on the podcast. He also goes into diverse perspectives. He's famous for seeking out guests from various fields and backgrounds, and he goes the extra mile to feature individuals with unique stories and perspectives, and he ensures that their listeners gain exposure to different ideas and insights. Lewis Howes' commitment to diversity enriches the learning experiences on this podcast. Engaging with his audience, Lewis actively engages with his audience even beyond the podcast. He responds to comments and questions on social media with participants in online discussions, and he creates opportunities for his listeners to share their experiences and their insights. By going the extra mile, Lewis Howes has connected with his audience, and he's created a sense of community and involvement with them. He also supplies supplemental resources with his podcast. He is known for providing supplemental resources, and this is often involving offers with books, courses, and workshops that go even deeper into specific topics that are covered on his podcast. By going this extra mile to provide these resources, Lewis Howes ensures that his audience has access to learning and growth opportunities. The fifth and final thing that I wanted to talk about is continuous improvement and feedback. Instill a culture of continuous improvement and learning with your team. You need to encourage them to seek feedback from their clients and analyze their suggestions and implement necessary changes to enhance that client experience. Sales forces and leading customer relationship management platforms emphasize continuous improvement by actively gathering feedback from your clients. And it's through these surveys and user groups that they discover these things. They use this feedback to refine their products and services, ensuring customers' satisfaction and loyalty. Another podcaster that I want to talk about that emphasizes and really articulates this point very well would be Gary Vee. Now, Gary Vee is a highly influential entrepreneur and author, and he's also a speaker and a phenomenal podcaster. Gary Vee prioritizes transparent communication with his team and his audience, and he actively seeks feedback from his employers and partners and his customers, encouraging open and honest dialogue. And by creating an environment where feedback is welcomed and valued, Gary Vee promotes a continuous improvement within his own organization, and he uses that feedback that he receives to refine his strategies and also his approach. Reflecting on mistakes, Gary Vee acknowledges and reflects on those things, and he openly discusses his past failures, and he takes them as learning opportunities. By sharing his own experiences and his lessons, Gary Vee has demonstrated the importance of continuous improvement, but then he also encourages others to embrace growth mindsets and learn from their own mistakes. He also likes to engage with his audience. Gary Vee actively does this. He just engages with his office. He's a very engaging individual anyway, but through his various platforms, including his social media, his public speaking, he encourages his followers to provide feedback and ask him questions and also share their opinions. By actively listening and responding to his audience's feedback, Gary Vee has demonstrated a commitment to continuous improvement, which also ensures that his content remains relevant and valuable to those listening to his podcast. Now, we've explored the vital importance of fostering a mindset of continuous improvement and the power of feedback in leadership. And we've discussed and we've learned from exemplary leaders who have successfully implemented these principles that we've talked about today. As leaders, it's crucial for us to embrace the value of continuous improvement, never settling for mediocrity, and always seeking out ways to better serve our customers, our teams, and our organizations. By actively listening to feedback and learning from mistakes and adapting to new challenges, we can continuously evaluate our leadership and drive meaningful results with our team. But this podcast doesn't end here, and I want to invite you, our listeners, to become active participants in our community of growth-oriented leadership. I want to encourage you to support the podcast by sharing it with your fellow leaders, colleagues, and friends who would benefit from these insightful conversations. But I want to hear from you directly. Your questions and experiences, your suggestions are invaluable to this podcast, And I invite you to submit your questions, propose future leadership guests, and engage in conversations that are going to help shape the future episodes of this podcast. Together, we can create a dynamic platform that fosters collaboration, learning, and inspiration, just like some of the podcasters I talked about today. But remember, leadership is not a solitary journey. It thrives in the collective effort of supportive communities. So let's continue to support each other, empower one another, and drive positive change in our organizations and beyond. Thank you for being a part of the Language of Leadership podcast. So stay tuned for more inspiring discussions, remembering to keep leading with purpose, passion, and a commitment to continuous improvement. Together, we can make a profound impact in the world of leadership. Take care.